The question of what is a man is defined in the incarnation of Jesus Christ. We just celebrated Christmas, right?
Right.
The incarnation is God defining what the ultimate man should be. We see in Scripture, it's like this culmination. You start with Adam, right? The man that should have taken control, that should have laid down his life for his wife, the one that should have taken the apple and rescued his wife from the serpent, should have slayed the serpent,
right,
and driven him out of the garden, right? And then you have Adam's children, Cain, right? You have this epitome of a masculine, strong man, and he uses his strength to slay his brother. And you're seeing all of these examples of failed masculinity. And the question until Christ comes on the scene could be really, where in the Bible do we have a definition? Where does the Bible give a definition of what a man is? And I was going to ask that question. I was kind of racking my brain, but honestly, when you talked about Christ, Christ is the definition.
Yes.
Every
he
other
is
man,
the man.
Falls,
right?
Fails.
Yeah.
Samson, his strength, he falls to Delilah. Just time and time again, all of these examples of what could be the pinnacle of manhood, and every single one of them fail. And then finally, the question of what is a man is defined in the incarnation of Jesus Christ. We just celebrated Christmas, right?
Right.
The incarnation is God defining what the ultimate man should be. Every day we fall short. And so I think that's the problem, is every society, everybody, every sphere of society, we're always trying to answer this question of what is a man by looking to these strong men, by looking to these old leaders, and every one of them fails. But the reason why we're failing is because we're not looking at the archetype definition of
right,
what a masculine man is. The man Jesus Christ, the incarnate second person of the Trinity,
right,
come to lay down his life for humanity.
Right.
So speak to that, like.
Yeah. So you say, well, look at Christ's life then. So what are the virtues and the character attributes that Christ displays? Right. What is it that has caused him to be the most influential man that has ever lived, by far? Right. The status. You talk about status. Christ has changed the world, unlike anybody other. By far, the most influential man that ever lived. What were his attributes? What were his qualities? What is it that's drawn millions, billions of people to worship him? First and foremost, you'd say strength, strength of heart, strength of character, right? So behind the outward strength that men should have, which I think you and I would both agree, men should be strong. Men should be physically strong. And you may not be the biggest guy, you may not be, the physically strongest guy, but you should certainly try to be, right? Weakness is not something that we should glory in. You look at young men today, and you just see weak men, and you think, you're abdicating your duty as a man. You're a protector, and the wind's about to blow you over. What are you going to do to protect women and children? What are you going to do to protect your community? So strength is an important aspect of a man's virtue, but that has to be undergirded by strength of heart, right? Character. And so Christ ultimately was committed to righteousness, justice. He was committed to truth. He was committed to those things, and he laid his life down, as you said, for those things, for others. So we see biblical love, this notion of biblical love, that should drive a man biblically. I love God, I love truth, I love others, and I put them ahead of my own wants and needs, right? Really what emasculates a man is selfishness, petty selfishness. And what do we see? The measures of manhood in our culture are all, what does a man consume? Right, you look at all the advertising and all the, the rap music and all the, it's all about, well, I consume women and I consume alcohol and I consume drugs and I make money. And it's all based on consumption. It's not what you produce and how you serve and what you contribute. Right.
Pride. It's pride.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So, first and foremost, what makes Jesus great is his strength of heart, right, and his willingness to serve and lay his life down for others. So that's at the heart of manhood, and that's what's been lost in our day and age, right? And that's what has to be rebuilt.